The story begins with a bussy gal in her lingerie pouncing on a young lad. With an arousing, this boy is all hers since he is basically a thing she has bought. In this situation, all the boy can think is how on earth everything came to this. With this in a flashback, the young boy who is introduced as Kanakura Sora reveals how he encouraged himself to study hard and pass the entrance exams for an excellent high school. And finally, spring is here. As it turns out, his life up until now had not been so great. He lives in a dinky, stinky house, making him glad he didn't give up on his dreams. Sora plans to use this high school as a stepping stone to get into a good university and hopefully have a stable future. To ensure this, he is dedicated to working hard without slacking off. Suddenly, he hears the bell and heads over to see who it is. However, what he finds is two Yakuza-looking guys at his front step, announcing that they are debt collectors. Hearing this, Sora is sent into a world of despair. The debt collectors enter and reveal that Sora's parents have taken a loan from them and then disappeared somewhere, leaving a whopping 50 million debt responsibility on Sora. Since they are nowhere to be found, this debt is now Sora's responsibility. Of course, this amount is impossible for a middle school boy, and as such, the debt collectors offer him two more solutions. Sora can either be exploited to death on a fishing boat overseas or become someone's plaything to pay off the debt. The debt collectors recommend Sora choose the second option since life is precious. Obviously, both options, no matter how you word it, are pretty brutal, enough to make Sora cry. However, the debt collectors, showing no pity, claim they have a business to run. Consequently, they force him to get up and take him back to their headquarters. On the way, Sora thinks about how all of his hard work will be wasted and will amount to nothing. He was looking forward to his future, but alas, things aren't all sunshine and rainbows. Here, all of a sudden, a busty gal appears out of nowhere and presents the 50 million to the loan sharks, announcing that she will pay this entire sum all at once. Seeing so much money, Sora is taken aback, but soon begins to wonder just who on earth this chick is. Even the loan sharks are left stumped and ask about her identity. Nevertheless, the gal tells them to quietly take the money and leave. This brings us to Sora's house, where he is preparing tea for his savior. While doing so, he thinks back about how everything happened so quickly and tries to make sense of the situation. To his understanding, he was accepted to his dream school but was then going to get killed due to his parents' debt. Out of nowhere, he got saved by a girl. Regardless, seeing just how beautiful and busty this girl is, he decides not to be suspicious of her. Anyways, after offering her the tea, he profusely thanks her for saving him. But in response, the gal nonchalantly tells him it's okay. She was startled by how scary those men earlier were, but reveals that she is accustomed to it. Her parents are really decent people. She has faced such situations in the past before. He thought all this hard work was about to go to waste, and so he's truly grateful for the gal's intervention. He announces he will pay her back and asks for her name and address. However, the gal suddenly grabs his hand, claiming he doesn't have to pay her back. She did it because she wanted to. Not only that, Sora isn't able to pay her back in the first place. On the other hand, Sora is more concerned about her hand-holding. Embarrassed, he begins thinking about just how close and beautiful this girl really is, making him question if she is too close. But the gal announces that this is normal. It's normal to cling on to things you like. Now, Sora begins to feel conscious. He starts thinking that this woman might be an accomplice of the men earlier, but the gal tells him this is not the case. It was clean money she gave the debt collectors, something she earned on her own using her body. Hearing this, Sora is left even more distressed and adamantly claims he will return the money one day, though it is not possible right now. Seeing his earnest reaction, the gal gets excited and pounces on him. She gives him a kiss, proclaiming that she only wants Sora to do one thing, marry her. With this, the story ends at the start with the gal announcing that he is all hers. In the end, it looks like he has really become someone's plaything. As the gal begins to undress and strip down, Sora suddenly gets up. Red as a beet, he tells her to wait a minute. Damn, so much is going on all at once, so he wants to calm down and think about this all. Though his face clearly shows he is distressed out of his mind. More importantly, he tells her to firstly put her clothes back on. Hearing this, she was left disappointed, since she thought the bra was pretty cute. However, flustered, Sora insists he doesn't know anything about that and just wants her to get dressed again. In response, the gal speculates that maybe Sora is more of a behind-the-scenes guy and shows him a view of her cheeks, telling him that he is wearing something cute down there as well. Seeing such insight, Sora is left stunned, and his reaction makes the gal laugh out loud. Anyway, she gets dressed, and for now, Sora decides to give up on asking about how she got the money. As such, he returns back to the main topic and confirms if, in exchange for the gal paying off his debt, he now has to marry her. He simply just doesn't understand what she means. He questions her reasons for this, but yet again, in a nonchalant manner, the gal just claims she has one reason. She loves Sora. Hearing this, his heart begins to beat at 1,000,000 miles per hour. He asks why he is the center of her love, but she, in a rather confused manner, tells him that she has always liked him. He begins to wonder if they have maybe met somewhere before and apologizes since he cannot recall anything. But all she can gather is that Sora just wants to know more about her. As a result, she gets closer to him and once again grabs a hold of his hand, announcing she will tell him everything that will get him to respond to her feelings. However, the way she said it only sends naughty images into the young boy's mind. Nevertheless, she snaps back to reality, making the gal amused at his reactions. She reveals where it all started. She tells him about how she saw him deliver newspapers every morning before school. He, even before the sun had risen up, was out and about working diligently to support his such family, no matter whether it be raining or on important exam days. Seeing him work so hard, the gal was mesmerized and became motivated to work hard as well. Hence, she slowly came to love him. Hearing this, Sora is left bewildered by just how she could love him from just that. But even then, she has some qualms, stating that if this is the case, it is more normal to begin with dating first. However, after laughing once again, the gal replies that her dream has always been to marry the person she likes. However, this makes her wonder why Sora is refusing, thinking that maybe she isn't his type. Assuming she's been rejected, the gal begins to panic about what she should do, but he clarifies that for him, marrying such a beautiful girl would be like a dream. That is exactly why he thinks for marrying him would be a waste. He still has debts to pay off, and hence he isn't really worth it. But in turn, the gal claims things aren't like that. If she was going to give up on him for money, she wouldn't have come here in the first place, and she likes the diligent side of Sora, which can still get accepted into his prestigious school despite working to the bone. This has been a new experience for Sora. Until now, he has never been praised and even told he was loved. His life was filled with misfortunes, and her words have made him really glad. But still, no reply from her. He doesn't want to give her a hasty reply like his parents did, even though he's done so much for him. Seeing him struggle internally, the gal decides to give up. She apologizes for creating tension by getting involved and excuses for all the chaos she has stirred up. However, she is not getting up completely. She will try and gain his affection going forwards, but all of a sudden, Sora gets up and grabs her arm, announcing that this isn't what he meant. Although it may take time, he wants to give a sincere response to her feelings after he gets to know her more. Hearing this, she asks if this means he will marry her, and Sora claims he will, after taking the proper steps, that is. This makes the gal ecstatic, and she delightedly jumps to hug him tightly. However, this allows her bosom to get pressed on him, making him create some distance. With this, he then asks for her name, realizing he doesn't even know it yet. And so the gal introduces herself as Luna Momos. This marks the start of this strange couple to be's married life together. Consequently, Luna brings Sora into her house, where he is left captivated by the sheer size of it. Seeing this, the baffled Sora questions if this really is Luna's house, and she confirms this, claiming it was her house up until now, but it will now become their house. He begins to get lightheaded and almost faints. Anyway, later on, they have dinner together. As they sit to eat, Sora is once again flabbergasted by the lavish dinner he has been presented with, and Luna just tells him to eat up since it is a present for him for moving in with her. Furthermore, she suggests that they go to bed early today since he is already tired from all the hassle today brought, and Sora seconds her suggestions, all the while still thinking if he is really going to be living in this place with such a beautiful girl. As his lust begins to take over after glancing at her gigantic mommy milkers, he begins scarfing down the food and talks about how he only brought over the essentials for today. As such, he will have to go and get the rest of the stuff back. However, Luna exclaims that it's unnecessary. She has already taken care of this and ordered all his stuff to be delivered over. In addition, she has also canceled that Stinky House's contract. This makes Sora question just when on Earth she had time to do that. And she reveals she did it when he was out cold. Not only that, Luna has even gotten permission from Sora's parents. This makes Sora quiet, especially since he cannot get in contact with them. Nevertheless, the rich gal hired a very good private detective who found them. When they were informed that Luna was going to take care of all of Sora's living expenses, they gave their consent immediately, making Sora realize his good fortune, not having just gotten taken in by monetary greed. But that's not all. Luna was so happy after their response that she even bought them a trip around the world, all expenses paid, of course. Regardless, after the meal, Sora takes a bath and returns to his room. On the way, he thinks about how big this house really is. Moreover, feeling exhausted after all the events that transpired today, he decides to call it a day and get some rest. Eventually, after stumbling around for a while, he reaches his room and finds that an enormous bed is waiting for him. He lays on his new bed and recalls everything he has to do tomorrow. He now has to get ready for school tomorrow, but as he tries to do so, he remembers his response to Luna and recalls how embarrassing and crying he was being. This is enough to make him curl into a ball and make him want to expire. As he rolls around on his bed, trying to hide his embarrassment, he thinks about how he should act going forward. In the first place, is he really able to get married with such a bombshell babe right now? But as he thinks about all of this, his door suddenly opens and Luna walks in wearing nothing but an oversized t-shirt. As she enters, she closes the lights and sits down into bed beside him. This leaves him in a strange situation as he wonders what sort of situation he's in right now. Nonetheless, Luna turns around, left wondering if Sora already fell asleep, all the while not moving an inch. Sora pretends to be asleep and wonders just why he came to his room this late at night. However, being the playful gal she is, Luna gets closer to him and lies down into bed beside him, making him flustered, so much so that he shrieks aloud and gets up. His reactions make Luna laugh like crazy as she claims she knew he was awake. However, seeing Luna in such an enticing state, Sora's mind begins going places. He notices how cute Luna is in her pajamas, and how she is still wet in some places. This is enough to make him avert his gaze, and Luna explains that she didn't finish drying up since she wanted to make sure Sora was asleep or not. Not only that, she then asks why he is on the edge of the bed and asks him to come closer. However, the sword he is hiding behind the pillow makes it impossible for him to do so without exposing himself. He tries to refuse, but Luna just threatens to come over by herself, finally making Sora accept her order. Luna claims that bedtime is when husbands and wives should get along, making him realize that it is common practice for husbands and wives to share the same bed. As such, Luna then grabs his arm, making her his comforter, and lies down right beside him. All this stimulation is too much for an average healthy boy like Sora to handle, and so, in order to mask the awkward silence, he tries to talk about something. Ultimately, he compliments Luna's shirt, and she thanks him, saying she has something even cuter in mind. However, this shirt has an advantage the other doesn't. She can completely lift it up and show her undies to him, and this is exactly what she does. She reveals her arousing lingerie and asks if he wants to have a feel, sending Sora into a state of panic. He tells her not to show her assets so casually, but in turn, she replies that he is allowed to look. It's her husband after all. Moreover, she wouldn't just do stuff like this with anyone. In that moment, Sora knows he has to get a hold of himself. He reaffirms his goal to not become like his parents and not be taken in by a moment of weakness, allowing him to calm down. As such, he returns to lie on the bed. Then Luna reveals just how happy she truly was when he decided to agree to marry her. She knows how shady she must have looked when she suddenly busted into his house and asked him to marry her. But still, he listens to what she has to say and she begins lewdly handling and touching him, making him redder by the second. Understanding that things might end up badly if it continues like this, Luna keeps going on, claiming that her heart began to squeeze after seeing Sora take her words so seriously. So much so that she choked up exactly what Sora is going through right now. All of a sudden, she gets on top of him and goes in for a kiss. Although hesitant at first, Sora too gives in to his urges. However, at the last second, she backs off, embarrassed about her actions. She claims she is just too embarrassed to do that with him, finally bringing this to an end. And so after a drink, both of them calm down and Sora tells her that he will be going to school from now on. He will have to tell her that his daily life will shift going forward, all the while thinking about what Luna does during the daytime. He thinks that he might work, but to him, she looks about his age. There, she explains that there is nothing Sora needs to be concerned about, claiming that she too will be enrolled in the Mayo Academy, Sora's high school, and be his classmate from April. Just like that, these words keep on ringing inside of Sora's head, and eventually, the first day of high school arrives at last. And just like she said, Luna is now in Sora's class. Not only that, she is the freshman representative as well. After the ceremony, where Luna gives a speech to the crowd, and everyone has already started to gravitate towards her. In class, she gets surrounded by many other students, whereas Sora watches her from afar, surprised as heck since he didn't really think she was telling the truth that night. Seeing her shine so bright, Sora is left even more distressed. You see, he doesn't want to be a hindrance in her popular school life, and by the looks of it, she will not even try to hide their connection. All of a sudden, the mood of the class worsens. A delinquent-looking guy with the aura of a furious lion walks into the class and stands behind Sora. In addition, he points to the students sitting next to him and orders them to get out since they are taking up his seat. With this scary-looking guy sits down next to Sora, and it appears that these two are friends. This guy is named Subaru, and he greets back his old friend with a huge smile on his face. It seems like they both met back in middle school and are now once again in the same class. There, Subaru also asks why Sora is trying to hide his presence in this new school, leading to Sora claiming some stuff happened. Hearing this, Subaru, trying to act as a pillar of support, tells him that there is no need to hide anything from him. And so, after being happy that he has a true friend, Sora tells Subaru about everything that has happened to him, although he leaves out who this girl is and how she is their classmate. Hearing this story, Subaru has no idea what the hell is going on and only has one possible explanation for everything. The girl is an assassin sent to ensure Sora pays his debt. But just the thought of this being the case is enough to frighten Sora, and he tells Subaru to knock it off, especially since he has already considered that possibility. Despite this, to Sora, it doesn't seem like that girl is a bad person. Learning all this, Subaru suggests that maybe the girl has also recognized Sora's kindness. In middle school, Everman was afraid to approach Subaru due to his scary demeanor. However, Sora was different. Maybe she too saw this side of Sora and grew affectionate for him. As they both converse, out of nowhere, the girl in question, Aka Luna, comes dashing over to her beloved. Upon her arrival, she apologizes for not being able to go to school with Sora, asking if they will head back home instead. Seeing this elite-level chick talk to a poor, in-debt guy like Sora, the other classmates immediately start to gossip among each other. There, Subaru and Luna also exchange greetings. However, Sora, displeased and insecure about the situation, grabs Luna's hand and then asks him to come with him. All the while, Subaru is left depressed that his only friend has already befriended someone else. On the other hand, Sora drags Luna outside and takes her to a secluded place. There he gets closer to her and, misunderstanding the situation, Luna thinks he is going to take her here. As such, she locks herself onto him, announcing how unexpected it is that she would spur her on here. As she anticipates some naughty things, however, Luna claims that no one is here and it would be alright for them to do so. Nevertheless, Sora fights off his urges and explains why he brought her here. He wants to keep the relationship between them a secret from others. But this is not something Luna is happy about. With a pal on her face, she asks why this is, and Sora explains that she is already quite popular. On the other hand, his life might end up causing problems for her, and he doesn't want that. Hearing this, Luna realizes something. This means she can't act all lovey-dovey with him in school. Even after all the arrangements she has made to get into the same class as Sora, she has denied her desire. This is enough to crush her soul entirely. Luna thought that she would be able to celebrate her perfect couple life in high school and wanted to upload all the photos on social media. Seeing her in such a state, Sora begins to think about how selfish she is being. Just as he rethinks his idea, all of a sudden, Luna connects some dots. If they live a quiet life, other girls will also not get aware of Sora's charm. And so just like that, she agrees to this plan. With this, Sora claims he will try to incorporate some more private skin-to-skin contact. Seeing him put so much effort for her requests, Luna begins to blush and professes her love for him again. Eventually, they both agree to not do naughty stuff at school, and they both return back to class. As they walk back, he even compliments Luna's uniform, telling her how it suits her. This makes her very happy, but he contends, claiming that her casual clothes give her more of an older vibe, but her uniform really makes it look like they are the same age. Hearing this, Luna has an ingenious idea and suggests that she do some lewd stuff in this uniform he thinks is cute. Not only that, she gives him a peek of her revealing undies, making him flustered. Just as he tries to scold her about these things, Luna rushes back to class, claiming that the first period is about to start. The first week of school comes to an end and the first weekend begins. At home, Luna, in her casual, revealing clothes, asks Sora what he wants to eat for lunch. Since they had sushi the last time, she now wants to have pizza, claiming they should enjoy their day off by having something tasty. However, Sora has some qualms about this. He suggests that instead of ordering takeout, he wants to make lunch for both of them. Apparently, ever since the entrance ceremony, they both didn't really have much time and hence they just got food delivered. But this has just made Sora feel a bit guilty since he already has a large debt to pay Luna. As such, seeing as he cannot pay her back, he figures he should at least do the household chores. And Luna jumps on this opportunity, having a home-cooked meal made by her beloved, who could pass on such a deal. Upon his suggestion, she immediately gets all hyped up and adds that she wants to cook with him too. And although it would defeat Sora's purpose of paying her back, he is ultimately convinced when Luna comes closer to him, claiming this will make them look more like a married couple. Nevertheless, Sora is just a bit uncomfortable with her knockers pressing onto him, and he brings this to light, making her back off a bit. Regardless, now that they will be cooking, Luna decides to change her clothes to not get them dirty. As such, she heads into her room real quick and comes back wearing an apron and nothing else. Seeing her in such an exposed state, Sora is left no choice but to try and block his vision, but we still make sure to have enough space to peek. Consequently, he tells her to get changed since her outfit right now would be a hazard. They cannot risk something bad happening, like maybe oil spilling somewhere or maybe his mind. But seeing his flustered expression, Luna decides to tease him a bit. She asks if he is curious as to what she's got inside, stating that you will get a better understanding if he looks from behind. This statement sends a wave of naughty thoughts into Sora's mind. Even though Luna is not against showing her body to her beloved, he adamantly announces that no means no. He will not be able to cook if she does something like that. However, much to his surprise, instead of being on full display, Luna instead has a cute bikini on. Seeing this, Sora realizes that he was being toyed with, though he cannot really see much difference with her wearing this swimsuit underneath. Begins teasing him and ultimately decides to change. With this, they finally begin cooking at last. There, Sora asks if there are things Luna is picky about eating, but she claims she is not picky about anything. More importantly, she figured that maybe something like this would happen, so she has already prepared groceries for them to use. As such, he heads to take a look at what they have available and finds a box of high-quality meat inside. Not only that, but also the food. Has taken aback by the sheer number of cooking utensils and all the seasonings in the kitchen, making him think that he will be able to cook up something delicious when he learns the recipes. Hearing this, Luna asks if Sora enjoys cooking, and he replies that he does indeed. Back at his house, he needed to do everything by himself, so he just kinda learned how to do it, and now, after seeing everything at his disposal, he's just excited that he will not have to make do with whatever he is laying around. Seeing the excitement on her face, Luna then suggests they should get an apron for him as well, for the next time he cooks, and so they finally start, and Sora plans on making a beef stew with the high-quality meat they have on hand. But first, the most important thing, the rice. There, Luna suggests she be in charge of the rice, and he allows her to do so. Nonetheless, it is evident that the trust he placed in her is entirely misplaced. Not only does she add a lot of rice, she even adds her favorite soft drink into the mix, anticipating the rice will turn out good, though it is obvious to Sora that she is not cooking rice. Rather, she is making some potion. In addition, they had no time to stop there, making things even more difficult for him. However, he comes to the realization that maybe she just isn't good at cooking. Someone as rich as her wouldn't really have the need to cook, and he doesn't want to intervene in her process, especially since he is heavily indebted to her. As he thinks this over, he suddenly hears a shriek from behind. Learning that Luna has accidentally soiled all the remaining soft drink on herself. Though his eyes falter, she decides to wear the swimsuit underneath. Anyways, Sora cleans her up, and they both keep going on to keep her preoccupied. Sora tells her to prepare the salad, and she gets onto the task while he cooks up the main dish. Soon after, they are done with cooking and sit down and have a meal together. There, after tasting the stew, Luna is taken aback by how delicious it tastes. She compliments Sora's skill, calling him a genius, and proclaims this is the best thing she has ever had. Even though the rice is pretty dry, the stew tastes out of this world. But this chain of thought forces her to realize something. Everything that's messed up, like the rice and the salad, was something she made. Does this mean she actually sucks at cooking? It makes her extremely nervous, since she thinks the meal would be way better if she didn't interfere. Seeing her expressions, Sora tries to comfort her, claiming that her rice goes well with the stew and has a creative taste. Seeing his effort to make her feel better, Luna is delighted and happy, but Sora reveals this is not entirely true. The truth is that having a meal like this with someone else is already great for him. You see, he was always making food only for himself and eating it all alone. However, this experience has been a fun one for him, and to him it's only natural for couples to help each other out whenever one of them is bad at anything. Hearing all this, Luna begins getting frustrated. Nevertheless, Sora just keeps talking and apologizes if he is running his mouth. He only wants to help her out in any way since he has to repay her in some way. But she, on the other hand, just tells him to stop calling her by her last name and instead call her Luna. This would make her very happy, and she conveys this with a seductive expression on her face. As such, Sora begins doing so. The two of them decide to divide up the chores. Seeing as Luna isn't great at most of them, Sora is given the majority of the chores, though she claims she will help him out if needed. Nevertheless, Sora is excited to do whatever he can to try and repay Luna, and she too is excited about their new married life working together. The fact they are making up rules is evidence that they are indeed living together, and this makes her super happy. But suddenly, her mood does a 180-degree turn. With a dead expression, she brings something to light. Upon looking at the list, she learns that something major is missing, something that is extremely important for a husband and wife. Hearing this, even Sora panics and inquires as to what this could be. And with a stern and serious expression, Luna reveals that it doesn't state when and where they will flirt and for how long. Apparently, at least to her, it is pretty important, no matter how hard she tried, and it is finally time for him to give in. She demands that she wants to make out with Sora even more, making him extremely embarrassed. But despite her desire, Sora tells her that he doesn't want to act irresponsibly and do anything unpleasant to her. As such, he contemplates what to wait until he can somehow get a grip of his new life. Regardless, Luna thinks up of a good counter and recalls how Sora claimed it was not a good idea to let all her demands be left unattended. In her words, ignoring one's wife's overflowing desires is what an irresponsible husband would do. And skinship is an indispensable part of a harmonious married life, something no man should avoid. Rather, it is something that should be encouraged. Hearing this all, Sora begins to think that maybe she is right. As a result, he is coerced into a plan where they try and get him used to flirting by incorporating skinship into their daily lives, though he is still skeptical that it's going to be okay. He fears he is, and the flow will eventually make him crash into a few huge boulders. Nevertheless, the first plan of action is to get him accustomed to hugs. To Luna, this is a pretty common thing in the world, like how friends use it to greet each other. Although Japanese people will be shy to do it at first, they should get used to it pretty easily, and hence they begin their plan. Firstly, Luna pulls out a pamphlet her friend told her about, which mentions ways couples can slowly try and get more intimate. The first step is for them to just hold each other's hand. A simple enough task for Luna, but a huge hurdle for an honest, pure boy like Sora. Still, having cleared the first step, they move on to the next, a hug. Not only that, Sora is the one who is supposed to be giving one to her. Apparently, she was the one who always initiated their skinship, and so she now wants to be hugged by her beloved and opens up her arms to invite him in. In addition, she wears a smug expression on her face, and Sora, although a bit hesitant, ultimately gets swayed in by her expectations and goes in for the hug. As he hugs her tightly, he is made to realize just how embarrassing this act really is. He can feel how soft Luna is, even sensing her assets pressing into him. Soon enough, he reaches his limit and asks if this is enough, and she accepts it, happy as can be. Nevertheless, she comments on how he used too much force and how he looks so cute when he's blushing. Anyway, since he managed to do it, she compliments him, and they decide to keep going on to the next step, a kiss. Consequently, she presents her cheek, claiming she is ready when he is, and Sora is surprised that she is satisfied with a kiss on the cheek. Hearing this, Luna once again begins to tease him, asking if he planned on giving it to her straight, but Sora blushes and backs out. Despite this, she still has to peck her on the cheek and begins to wonder if he is even allowed to kiss a cutie like this in the first place. Damn, this sanctuary should not be defiled, but seeing her ready for it, he begins wondering why she is so unfazed by all of this. This makes him speculate that maybe Luna has had a boyfriend in the past and has more adult experience. Maybe that is why she thinks she can just toy with a pure guy like him. Thinking this, he gets a sick feeling in his stomach and gives him a wary feeling. Seeing him in this state, Luna thinks maybe she went too far with the teasing and suggests they give up on the kiss for now. In the first place, she probably couldn't do it herself as well and wants to make this their next goal to move on to. However, as she says this, Sora suddenly jumps in for the kiss and gives her a smooch on the cheeks, immediately getting taken aback by how soft she is and how good she smells. After doing the deed, he apologizes for acting on impulse, and Luna tells him not to worry, even though she was surprised by his boldness. On the other hand, Sora now wants to die out of embarrassment, and seeing him like this, Luna begins making fun of him yet again. Meanwhile, she too is embarrassed as all heck. While Sora vows to get used to these things and do his best, Luna is also hiding her true feelings about the matter and tells him not to worry. And so, thinking he's on a roll, he decides to ask her what the next stage of the plan is, and Luna checks, learning that it is for them to do the nasty. Obviously, she is prepared for this, but Sora, on the other hand, is far from ready. With this, they decide to put their skinship session on hold for now. To summarize the story so far, a month has already passed since Sora and Luna started their married life together. They'd conjured up a plan and divided up all the chores between themselves. They had also started to get accustomed to their daily school life. Things have been smooth sailing for the time being, making Luna extremely happy. At least that is what she thought. Luna tries to ask Sora to go home together, but he refuses, claiming he has to stop somewhere beforehand, so he will be leaving earlier than usual today as well. Hearing this, Luna notices that lately, something has been off about Sora's actions. She recalls how previously she attempted to ask him to head back home together, but he made up an excuse that he had business to attend to. Apparently, teachers have asked him to do some stuff, and hearing this, Luna is impressed that even the teachers rely on her husband. As such, she decides to wait in the class until he is done so they can head back together, but Sora adamantly tells her that he will get late. As such, he wants Luna to go home alone before him, claiming that he will be back by dinner. With this, he took his leave and escaped the situation, not listening to what Luna had to say. This made her incredibly lonely, but she braved it out for that day. But it wasn't just a one-time occurrence. She recalls how even on a Saturday, Sora went out on his own, claiming he was going to the library to study. Hearing this, Luna suggests that maybe she should tag along as well. However, Sora reveals that he already has pretty awesome grades and he wants to be alone, fully concentrate. After hearing his response, Luna once again became incredibly lonely and tried to forcefully tag along if Sora wouldn't have it and left her at the house to go by himself. All of this makes her feel like Sora has put some distance between herself and him. Although she doesn't want to bind herself to him at all times and knows a long time is necessary as well, her womanly intuition is saying that something is up. Sora is definitely hiding something. To combat her bad feelings, she comes up with 3 plans of action. She can either tail him in secret, put a GPS tracker on him, or maybe hire a private detective to tail him for her. But almost immediately, she understands that this would be going too far. Vowing not to do that kind of stuff anymore, meaning he did do that in the past, she ultimately decides that maybe she is just overthinking and overreacting. All of a sudden, in the distance, she hears some gossip amongst the other female students. As it turns out, a girl just broke up with her boyfriend. This girl's friend is left speechless since they just started dating not too long ago and asks what the reason might be. To this, the girl in question explains that she feels like she maybe just came on too strong. She always had tickets prepared in advance and always went above and beyond to make fancy lunches for him, making the guy feel like she was just a little bit too intense. But isn't that just being a good, devoted girlfriend? The guy seems like a jerk, to be honest. As these two talk, they decide to get Luna involved as well, thinking her experience could help them out. However, at the moment, Luna is just devastated by the too intense reason. She realizes that she has been way too overbearing on Sora, making her come to the realization that it is dangerous to get all lovey-dovey with the person you like. Anyways, they are able to calm the heartbroken girl down and Luna parts ways with them. Meanwhile, deep down, she understands that she has messed up. She has been way too forceful on more than one occasion. However, she feels like if Sora was uncomfortable in that position, he should have told her so. Since the start, she used her financial power to make her his wife and thinks back on how even though she professes her love to him every day, he's never done the same to her. Their relationship has lasted for a month now, but still, she is unsure if it is possible to make someone fall in love with her. Slowly but surely, she gets overwhelmed by all these thoughts. Then, she happens upon a scene. Some boys from the neighboring class are seen cleaning the classrooms, making her remember how Sora is now the one who cleans up the house. This makes her wonder if it is possible that he went into her room to clean back then. To her, if he did, it could tell her the reason why he has been creating distance between them,